so welcome to Chicago City Morning Show Part 3. Week 1, we had all the coaches on. Week 2 is Coach Slavo and Craig. And this morning, we're going to have a little chat with our boys and girls director, Coach Simone and Coach P. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good. Oh, Darko's in watching. Good morning, Darko. Gar Kent, how are you? Right, so we're going to just get straight into it. Obviously, the kind of part of this show, we obviously are wearing our team colours. So you can see Simone is wearing the reigning champs, Manchester City. She's the only one in the club, along with some Man United fans. So some good conversations in the office with that, eh?
Nah. Glory fans.
Who's our Man United supporters?
What was that?
Who's our Man United supporters?
Oh, yeah. Fake fans. Don't believe them.
Coach Ryan and I think Coach Stu, right?
Yeah.
And then Pedja's gone with, well, you tell us why, Pedja. I know you did on day one. What jersey are you wearing?
I'm wearing AC Milan. So that was my favorite team since I was a kid. My favorite team is actually Partizan from Belgrade, but this is my second best team. So really
what a team they were, right? In the 80s and 90s. Some superstars on those teams.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that Dutch trio with Van Basten, Gullit, and Rijkaard, that's when I fell in love with them. And then I saw Franco Baresi, how he plays in defense, and I just really started liking them even more.
Brilliant. I don't know if I ever told you, we met him here in Soldier Field one summer.
I know, I saw that, and I was really...
I don't know if he didn't speak any English, but he definitely didn't want to speak any English at that time. He just took some photos and gave us a nod. And
that's all you need.
Right, we'll start with you, Simone. Just give us an introduction, who you are, where you're from, position at the club.
So I'm Coach Simone. I'm originally from Huddersfield in England, and I've got the role of the girls director at Chicago City.
Brilliant. And UP?
My name is Coach Pedja. My real name is Predrag, but Pedja, everybody knows me by Pedja. And this is my 4th year with Chicago City. And currently I'm a boys director at the club.
Lovely. All right, back to you, Simone. Just how long have you been at the club and how did you come about joining Chicago City?
Yes, this is my 3rd year with Chicago City. So I kind of originally came out about 10 years ago, kind of first to America. I worked through a company called MLS Camps, which I know you worked with Nick and Craig and Chris Stewart. So I knew a lot of you guys kind of through that. I know we had some conversations throughout the years about, trying to make this happen, and the timing wasn't quite right. And then eventually, kind of 3 years ago, everything fell into place and it was the perfect time to come and join. It was all worked out.
Yeah, it was. You were always on my mind as the first female we wanted in this club, and we had to go about it the right ways and kind of let it be. And you were definitely on the wanted list throughout Chicago. And I know you're one of the top female coaches in this area, so it's been great having you on board. Coach Pedja, what about you? How did you make your way to the dream team, as we call it?
Yeah, so I was coaching another club, and then after that club didn't exist anymore, I was approached with Coach Slavo. I know him from before, and we started talking. Then he introduced me to you, and I saw what you guys were doing, and I was in the other club. It was a really, really cool stuff. And now I had the opportunity to talk to you, Nick, and I had a couple of other clubs in mind as well, but you were definitely the one that I chose to be with because you did everything different, and it was something that I was, associated with, that you had the same way of thinking like I did. So it was really a good fit, and I didn't regret my decision.
I remember that conversation very well. I didn't know who you were, and Slav was like, you need to speak to this guy. I was like, of course, absolutely. And I think within 5-10 minutes, we hit it off. We were on the same page. We were talking the same language, and it was really a no-brainer. And I know, I was on a webinar last week about, how do you find such good staff? And sometimes, even like with you two, it's been a bit of luck and just kind of just a connection that kind of just works. And you just know in your gut that, you know what, this is going to be a good fit. It's not always a good fit, but these two definitely were. And it's great to have you guys on board and keep pushing forward in these positions.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
We'll thank Coach Slavo and I think Coach Craig for pushing them along. Right, so let's go back in time a little bit for some, a little further for others. But we'll start with you, Pete. Just give us just tell us how you grew up playing the game, how you got into it as a player back home, and then just kind of that journey from playing into coaching, and then obviously ending up in Chicago.
So I don't know, as far as I can remember, I liked soccer a lot. I just know that I pick up the ball and I start playing in the school. I mean, all teachers know me as a soccer player because I was always asking when we're going to play soccer. And I was always on a field every recess, every time after the school, before school, I was on the field just playing. And then after, I think I was 7 years old, I joined FC Novi Sad, that's in my hometown. They were in a second division professional club. And I don't know, one day we had a tryout of 100 kids. Everybody joined, they accept everyone. And then people just start, it was like an onion process. Everything is peeling off. Yeah. And then only like 20, 25 of us stayed. And then I was in that club until I signed a professional contract over there and I played until 25, 24.
How old were you when you signed?
17.
17, wow.
Yeah, and then it was a, big journey, different journey. I mean, it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
And then we had opportunity to come here. My wife got into the PhD program here 17 years ago. I was 25 at the time. We came here. I had some, health issues, some like back problems. And after that, when I came here, I was playing in Metropolitan League. Had a dream, I'm gonna play somewhere higher.
Yeah.
I didn't went into the coaching really at the beginning. And then after that, when we got our daughter, I got into coaching her and I enjoyed doing that. And that's how I started coaching.
So two questions. One, you were 17 when you signed that pro contract. Did you continue school? And were you going into a pro team, I'm guessing, full of older players, and you were very young going into that environment?
It's a tough one. Yeah, I was still in school. I was still in high school. I still had like a year and a half in high school. And you just have to balance. Luckily, because you're on the first team, you practice every day. Mm-hmm. During the summer and winter preparations, pre-season, you have twice a day practice. Okay. Every day. But during the season, you have only once. So I was able to manage my school in the morning and after school immediately go to a practice.
Oh, okay. So a bit like college probably here, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. And it's really, it's tough because you are 17 and some of the guys are like 25, 30.
Right.
And you're the youngest one. You just look, I'm not going to make anything wrong. So, but I fit in. They accept me really well. And it was really pleasant experience.
So when you graduated high school, then were you full-time or did you have to work on the side? How did that go?
No, I was full-time.
Full-time, straight ahead.
I just played soccer. And then I got my associate degree in a way, while I was playing as well. So nice. It's a little bit of balance, but it's doable.
So I always remember a story you told me about your mother, and my mum's listening today, and it's, I was talking about maybe getting our mums on here one day and telling some stories, but you always told me the one about when after a game in the newspaper, the ratings would come out, and no matter what rating you had, your mum was always like, that's not good enough. Just give us a quick one on that story.
Yeah, so after every game, every Monday, you got a, Monday newspaper, you open up and you see your name over there, and they grade you based on that game over the weekend. So I was thinking I was playing good, man. I got number 8. It's great, out of 10.
8's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And then mom said, yeah, this guy got 9. How you got 8? So she always, compare me a little bit, give me a little bit boost, but it was always like that. So I had to be careful how I play. You gotta be the best.
So, and I think that leads into your coaching style a little bit, right? You're a perfectionist, which is great. And I know
I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, I like some certain things to be done certain way, but I just want kids to enjoy the game.
Yeah,
that's my main priority. First, you have to like the game and enjoy the game. Everything else is gonna come.
Yeah, no, great stuff, great stories. I love it. All right, Simone, what about yourself growing up in England?
Yeah, for me, just always loved soccer or football since I was a young kid. My dad just kind of got me into it and used to go to the Man City games from as soon as I could walk, pretty much. For me, it was a little bit kind of different in England because kind of soccer was always seen as like a boys' sport. So there wasn't that many opportunities for me kind of when I was younger. Luckily, it's kind of really taken off for the girls now, and there's a lot more opportunities for the younger kids growing up. But I just used to play in the park, play at school, go to camps and be the only girl with like 100 boys. And then randomly when I was like 13, we had like a spring fair in our like village cricket club, and there was like a beat the goalie penalty shootout. And I just took some shots, and kind of the manager of the team just kept making me shoot, and he was like, do another one, and I'd shoot. And then he kind of just got me involved. I had to kind of travel quite a long way. And it was an open age team, so kind of like Pedja, I was thrown in with like, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds at 14, and
Wow.
it made me grow up pretty quick and learn to look after myself kind of on the field. And but yeah, it's a great kind of club. I played for them kind of all the way through, kind of even when I was at college, and traveled back to play for them. And it was a fun team. And like I said, luckily now there's a lot more opportunities for the girls, because I was a little bit limited on what I could do, and say I didn't have a school team. There was nothing really, so I just used to play as much as I can wherever I could, really.
No, great. And just tell us, like, because obviously a lot of girls here growing up wouldn't be, they don't get thrown in playing against boys unless it's maybe in school and recess. But give us some, like, just how was it playing against boys? Did you enjoy it? Was it tougher? What challenges did you go through? And did it make you better and tougher?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made me better and tougher, like when you first kind of wander up and try and play, they're looking at you like, you're a girl, you can't play. And like I said, you got to step it up. You got to be physical. You got to, make yourself feel valued there. Because I say it's, there's some stereotypes about girls playing football. And like I said, as soon as they kind of, you got to push yourself. And as soon as they saw that you could play and you could hang with it, that, you're accepted then. And it was good.
Yeah, there definitely is this respect you get when you're a good player, right? That's for sure. Through that girls team and that you ended up playing on a women's team, are many of those still involved in the game in any level, or any coaching or refereeing or anything like that? Yeah,
I think there's still quite a few of the kind of the girls that are playing now. And then there's some kind of working PE teachers. They've set up their own businesses, kind of coaching soccer in England. So yeah, I think it's good that I think it's a lot of doors have opened in England now for kind of for girls and women in soccer. So there's a lot more opportunities, and like I said, sometimes you kind of have to kick the door down. It's I know I've got a friend that's kind of set up her own coaching business there, and had a lot of challenges and just pushed through, and she's doing really, really well now. So
brilliant. And you still play a bit, right?
I do. I try and play as much as I can with the old body failing me sometimes, but so yeah, I play on a women's team on Wednesday nights here in Chicago, which is really good, and some really good players in there. I play in the Hispanic League on Saturdays, which is fun, and that's a mix of ages as well. And then try and get some co-ed games in there as well, as much as I can. Yeah,
you could play quite big. What, just for any maybe females or that women watching, what's Veronica's group called? That's women's only?
Women's Sports Chicago. So they run a soccer league and a basketball league as well. So yeah, it's a really good kind of community. I think for a lot of us, we don't always like playing co-ed, especially, when we have active jobs and there's some injuries sometimes in those leagues. So I think it's good for us all to kind of come together. There's an advanced league and a beginners league. So whichever level you're at, there's a team for you. And so it's a good camaraderie, and, a lot of kind of college players and some real talent in there. So it's good challenge. Yeah,
no, it's great. And she's doing a great job. So shout out to Veronica there and the girls. Great stuff. Right, back to you, P. I guess the question we want to kind of, people have been asking, and something that we've discussed as a group, and it's always great to hear, and is, what do you like most about coaching in general? And then what do you like most about being, part of Chicago City's coaching staff?
Yeah, about coaching, I really like how the kids progress. I mean, when they start first day, and at the end of the season, and maybe after 2-3 seasons, when you see that progress, that's fascinating to me, and I really, really enjoy that. Yeah. If I knew that earlier, I would become a coach earlier. But I really like that process, and I always like to see the kid who loves the game to join the club, and no matter what the skill level is, it doesn't matter. As long as they love the game, I just like to see that progress in them. And in Chicago City, I really like the coaching stuff and what we are doing, and your vision, Nick. I mean, this is just incredible, really, because we are doing something different. The main focus is we care about our players a lot, and we just want to keep them happy. We want to keep them educated. We want to just keep them liking the game as much as they can. And what we are doing every day, we are innovating stuff. We are doing always something new. That I like the most over here. We try something, then we see if it's the right fit for us or for the players. If it's not, we're gonna change immediately. We're not gonna wait for 3 years until we change something. It's everything. Right. We are proactive. We're just adapting what they need and how to get a better experience with us.
Yeah, and I think you've shown that in the club in terms of probably one of the most lovable. I think all the coaches are lovable, but definitely Coach P is one of the most lovable. And I think it's a credit to especially yourself and like Omar and that have played at the highest level. And when you're working with players that maybe have not, most of them don't have aspirations to play pro. Some don't have aspirations to play college. They just want to enjoy it, and it's a social activity and hobby. But at the same time, like you said, I think we all agree and we all talk about is pouring out that love for the game. And for them to love it, they've got to see that we love it. And I think it's a very genuine thing between us, and definitely with yourself. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you for your kind words. Really, I mean, I think every coach is like that, and every kids over there that we have in the club, they all like our coaches, and it's really nice. And the one thing I want to say is, soccer is like a glue. Everything is connected through soccer. You like it or not, but for me at least, everyone that I know in my life, it's through soccer. And trust me, some people that I know, they are not soccer players. They don't watch soccer, but somehow somebody knows someone, and it's really just like a glue, really.
It's a good network of people, isn't it?
It's a good network of people. It's like a spider web all over the world, really.
Yeah. No, well said. Well said. Good stuff. Good stuff. So Simone, what about yourself? What do you like most about coaching and being in a group with the Chicago City?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love about coaching, like I said, Pedja said it already, just kind of seeing them develop the love for the game for me, and just seeing them develop. Like, I kind of work with the younger kids a lot. So, you might have like a 6-7-year-old girl that comes and she's not so sure about soccer and she's really shy. And, within a few weeks, she's loving it and she's getting into and building the confidence, especially with the younger girls. I think that's a big thing for me, is trying to, develop the love for the game and the skills and the tactical understanding. But if I can kind of develop their confidence and, help them off the field as well, that's a huge thing for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's been, especially with the younger girls, it's been a challenge for every club. When I speak to them, is getting girls into soccer and staying in soccer, because obviously they want to try different activities and we understand that. But I think once someone comes in and they're working with you, especially that age, I think after 1 or 2 sessions, they're in love with the game. And like you say, that's what we're about. So, no, it's great. Awesome. Right. Well, leads into my final question before we take questions from the public. But we'll start with Simone on this one. So how do you see the future of soccer in Chicago? And how do you see the future of soccer in the States? And if you want to touch on England as well, which I know you have a little bit, it's on the up in the females world. Just give us a little touch on the future of the game.
Yeah, I think the future's really bright. Just in the kind of 9 years or so that I've been in Chicago and the States, like, soccer's just grown massively in popularity. When I first came, you couldn't even find a soccer game to watch on TV, and now it's everywhere. I think it's really, it's tough because there's the traditional American sports, but I think it's kind of really breaking through. There's more and more kids playing. And there's so much talent here, just even in Chicago, there's so much talent, even when I play in the Hispanic League and see some of the players and what they can do in there. So, I think there's a lot of really good players kind of coming through. So, hopefully I know it's hard when it's such a big country to kind of find all the best talent and get that into the system and develop it. But, I think there's definitely a bright future for the USA. And, Like I said, there's so many kids playing, and I think you've got to make sure that they keep playing all the way through. Like I said, there's so many other sports that can try and pull them away, especially the athletic players. But if they can, keep them in the soccer and develop them all the way through, they're definitely going to be, challenging on the world stage for sure. And the women are already doing well, and I think the men's team will definitely come through as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then will England's women ever win a World Cup?
I hope so. No, they've been doing really well. I think we've been doing well in the last couple of tournaments. Like you say, it's great that they're finally getting, the support they need, and the kind of professional league in England's doing really well. Like I'm glad, like Manchester City, my favourite team, did a great job of just supporting their players, getting them the training facilities they deserve, the coaching, making it a living for them rather than trying to play professional soccer and work 2 jobs to make enough money. So, I think the support system's getting there. The players are coming through the England system and looking really good on the younger ages. So hopefully we can challenge and take a trophy off the USA one day.
Oh, what a day that would be, right? World Cup final. USA versus the UK. A good day. Right, P, how does the future look from over there?
Nice. Yeah, I think it's definitely look bright, really. I mean, when I came here 17 years ago, I didn't expect much, to be honest. I was like, okay, it's tough to compete between baseball, American football, and basketball, the main sports over here. And then I see a lot of progress in these 17 years, really. I remember I went to a tournament my first year of coaching. We went to Naperville. And that tournament, when I stepped on those fields and I saw the vast of those fields and amount of players in one place, I was blown away, really. I mean, we didn't have that anything like that back home. It's a lot smaller scale, but it's the #1 sport. Everybody likes soccer. That's, we live for that. But over here, I see that everybody starts liking soccer more and more, and the kids are more involved, and it's a huge amount of talent. I mean, in Chicago and in the United States, it's a huge amount of talent, and I think the future looks bright, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think one of the things I've noticed, I've been here 18 years this June, is, just when you look out the window, even now through this time, is like you see people kicking a soccer ball around more so now than you see, football being thrown or a baseball. And that wasn't happening back then. So, and that's all age groups. You see families doing it, but then I've also seen, guys our age just out juggling a ball, and that wasn't seen back then. So I definitely think it starts with that love, and I think that's our job. And if we can get that love into the game to these kids, it's only going to stick with them like it has for us, right? And now we have a career in it. Great stuff. Right, so a couple of questions coming in. Someone who I can't remember who it was, it's gone past me now. Who is your favourite player on Man City, Simone, and AC Milan, Pedja, all time and now?
So I'll start with now. I know I talked about this the other week. My favourite player is Kevin De Bruyne. He's just, when you watch him play live, he's just incredible. He's everywhere. He'll win a tackle in defence, then he's pinging in a ball to set someone up. The work rate, and just as an all-round complete midfielder that can do everything on the attacking side and defensive side, and his vision is just incredible to watch. So, he's one of my favourite players, and I think a future captain of Manchester City. All time, well, we didn't have some great times growing up watching City, but a player, as we were getting relegated, that gave us a little bit of joy was Georgie Kinkladze. He was a very small little Georgian player. There was an amazing goal against Southampton where he dribbled past everyone and dinked it in. I was at that game, and it made the tears of relegation a little bit brighter when you could see someone.
Yeah, he was amazing. Where did he ever go to? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't know where. We tumbled down the leagues and he left us, unfortunately, but I'm not sure where he ended up. But yeah, he was exciting to watch for sure.
God, I remember him very much. And then I always remember Niall Quinn, right?
Quininho, yeah. We had a song about Niall Quinn's disco pants. I don't know why that was about. But
for viewers that don't know who he is, he was the Irish captain back in the day as well. He was, I don't know, 6'7" or something. He was huge.
A big lad.
Now he's head of the FEI, which is fantastic. Anyway, moving on. Pedja, existing and all time.
All time. Okay, I'll start with Partizan player. It's Predrag Mijatovic. So that was my favorite when I was growing up. He played for
Partizan,
Valencia, then Real Madrid. So he's good. And for AC Milan, Franco Baresi, by far, he's my favorite player. And right now it's Donnarumma, goalkeeper.
Oh, okay.
I like him because, you know, he was a young kid, just joined the first team, and he was there ever since, really. And he's amazing on goal. So it's tough to pick really one all-time great from Milan because a lot of great players go through that club, and you know, but so hopefully they're gonna be back on an old glory. So we'll see. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, on their way back up for sure. Another question. Oh, here's one from Jamil. Do you think Phil Foden will make or be successful at the international level? So do you think Phil Foden will be successful on the international level?
I think so. You know, this is meant to be David Silva's kind of last season at City, and he's kind of our, you know, ready-made replacement. Very similar player, very creative. You know, I know he doesn't play as much as, you know, a lot of the fans kind of hope, but we've got such a strong team at Manchester City. It's so hard to get into that team, you know. But whenever he does play, he makes a difference. He'll get an assist. He'll get a goal. You know, he's unbelievably talented. When you see him play, he's something special. And I think, you know, especially next season, he'll be playing more regularly. And, you know, I think he'll definitely break his way through into the international stage. You know, it might be good for him that the Euros kind of got pushed to next summer, because I think that'll give him a chance to get some more minutes and, you know, definitely get the call up that I think he's going to deserve.
Yeah, I mean, when Guardiola talks about how good you are, I mean...
Yeah, I mean,
I think everybody wants him to be successful, right? He's just that good.
Yeah, he's a good local boy, so the fans love him, and, you know, definitely want him to be in there. And, you know, he's grown up all the way through playing for the kids teams. You know, we have a great academy, but it's so hard to kind of get into that starting 11. But, you know, he's definitely a success story, and I think he'll be a future legend at Manchester City and England for sure.
Good stuff. Jamil has another question which I missed earlier, and we've touched on it, but his second part. So he asked, what's your honest opinion about soccer development in the US? I think you both touched on that very positively. And then he asked, how good are the kids in Chicago City versus teams or kids that we've coached in Serbia, England, and Ireland? Who wants to take that?
I'll take it. I think kids in Chicago City are really good. I mean, I'm watching a couple of kids. I have a friend of mine, a couple of them, they have their own soccer academies back home. So I have their updates, and I see a couple of videos from their games, and our kids in Chicago City are really good, to be honest, really. The only difference between, I'll say for Serbia over there and here, we have like multiple teams. On, let's say, U13, we have like 3 teams. U14, we have like 4 teams. But over there, it's only 1 team. So then you cannot just look, okay, they have 1 team, they're really good. We also have 2 teams like that, they're really good. And the other 2 are just there.
Yeah.
So I think we have pretty good players. And I think we can compete with any country, really.
I like it. Simone, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, you know, the standard here is really good. You know, the thing that stands out for me as well, there's just so many opportunities to do extra stuff. Like, you know, when I was playing in my team, we trained once a week, maybe twice a week if we were lucky. You know, at Chicago City, you can train 4 times a week. You can play extra tournaments, extra leagues. You play all year round. You know, you can keep playing throughout the summer. So, you know, the kids that are taking advantage of those extra opportunities and just playing and watching the game, you know, they're definitely kind of pushing on to that high level. And, you know, there's a lot of talent here that's, you know, challenging and probably exceeding the teams in England. Yeah,
I mean, I'll piggyback that one from getting grown up, Jamil. I feel if you're comparing, just in general, I think obviously back home they're playing every day. They've got it's for a lot of kids it's the only sport. I think the kids that do that here and they engulf themselves in those 5, 6, 7 days a week of playing, not say there's no comparison, but they're going to be on par. I think when I've gone back and forth over the last few years, the two things I really notice is the American kids typically are more athletic, but then I would say for Irish especially, they're tougher. And when you go into a tackle with an Irish player, you might not be getting back up, let's just say, but then also the referees allow it to be more physical than they do here. So it's a tough one because I know we try to allow our players to be a little bit tougher and aggressive in the right manner with sportsmanship. But a lot of times, I mean, when I played college here, I mean, I played all arms trying to protect myself and I would get called as a foul. But back home, if you didn't do that, you were in trouble. But overall, I mean, I think the best one I seen was 3-4 years ago. I watched my boyhood club, St. Kevin's Boys. They hold a U13 tournament every year. And Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Celtic all attended. Only 4 teams every year. And I watched and studied and analysed it at U13. And with Kevin's being the amateur club, I think we matched up with them no problem at our 13s at that time. Yes, the other teams, obviously the pro academies are probably going to beat us, maybe beat us well, but we definitely would compete. And it's something that we are looking at. We were looking at it this year, and obviously it's not happening. But we definitely want to get across and start making those comparisons and really show our kids, where they are on that spectrum. Okay.
I will just add one thing for that. Yeah. I mean, the difference. Sometimes you don't have to think about the team that you're playing against. Let's say you just said you have Barcelona, you have Celtic over there, and when they show up and you play with the amateur club, first thing that comes to your mind is like, oh, they are Barcelona, they're gonna beat us. They're, I don't know, Celtic. They're really, strong team.
Yeah.
But those kids don't think like that. They think like, I'm gonna show them why I have to be there on that team.
Yeah.
And that's why they're playing so well. So you just need to step up, and then that need to be your motivation. When you play against good team, you want to beat them. You want to give all you got, and that's how you're gonna get better.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because I've been there twice now, and St. Kevin's being the amateur team, they've beaten the likes of Barcelona, they've beaten Atletico Madrid, they've got to the final, and I think they were beat by Celtic the year little Dembele was playing, who's now a superstar in Scotland and for Scotland's national team. So absolutely, I mean, and Kevin's go into that just wanting to compete, and a lot of times they pull off a draw, and sometimes they win against these pro academies. So absolutely,
that motivation,
yeah, spot on. Josh has a question here. I don't know where this came from unless he's a supporter, but will Sunderland ever make it back to the Premier League?
I think yes. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I watched the Sunderland Till I Die on Netflix the other week, and I felt their pain of the relegation, and like you see how much they live for football. It's life or death for them, and I think that's I think the fans deserve some success. So hopefully they'll get some promotions and get back with the big leagues again.
I think they're gonna be back because English league is like the only league, but for my opinion, that you never know who's gonna win. You never know who's gonna go out. It's really up in the air, and that's why it's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, again, they were successful when Niall Quinn was there, and now he's on the board of directors, I believe, right? Still.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Right, I'm giving Facebook 5 seconds to ask one more last question. Heather Bickerton just signed on. She's got a question. When are we all going to be Blackburn Rover fans? Nah, I'm joking. Morning, Lonnie. Douglas, how are you? Just a couple of shout outs. Anthony Walsh, how are you? Back in Ireland. The Grusons are watching. Murray Finley, how are you? The Mullins. Obviously, Josh and Caden. Chris Murphy. Tanya Burns said, hi to both my kids' coaches. You guys are the best. The Burns family think you are awesome.
Thank you.
All right. We shall leave it there. Thank you very, very much for your time this morning. I know it's bright and early, and hopefully people tuned in before they head off for another beautiful day here in rainy Chicago. I feel like I'm back in Dublin. But thank you for your time. Thank you to our viewers. Any last thoughts, guys?
Just enjoy playing soccer. Just keep yourself motivated. Keep yourself motivated and enjoy the game.
Good stuff. Simone, any last words?
Yeah, just like Pedja said, enjoy it, watch it. I think, watching, this is a good time to watch as much, soccer as you can. Watch the highlights, watch the games that are getting repeated on TV. And we'll hopefully see you all soon back on the field.
Absolutely. Right, thank you to you both. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you for tuning in to this book. We'll see you next Wednesday, City Morning Show. Have a great week. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.